Trump's put kids in cages. No. Biden puts kids in cages. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, I haven't got the slide, but I found it. Biden, under his administration, had just built an entire new family facility at the border. Well, what's that?
Of course they have.
It's a family facility, is a detention centre for kids. Yeah. So nothing is new under the sun. Trump wasn't an angel. He was just exactly the same as everybody else.
I shared this one.
Yeah. Okay. If I'm in a cult, was a photograph.
My mum
this looks like a Freemasonic painting.
I showed my mum this.
Have you red pilled your mum properly yet?
No, she won't have it, mate.
So you know that meme about the car salesman who slaps the car on the top? It's like, yeah, you can fit loads of shit in here.
Yeah.
Container salesman slaps top of container. This bad boy can fit so many kids in. Chancellor Biden still not having it.
Hillary should be there as well.
Yeah, but if you got Hillary Clinton's container, it'd be 3 times long, and they're green.
And they're
green.
Know they're
yes,
green. They're
Everyone
green.
knows.
Yeah. This has got the nice democratic blue.
Okay, I think. Okay, with the final section of my show, Lord Schwab says
he's got a whole section.
But this week, Lord Schwab isn't saying anything. No, sorry. Last week it was who is Lord Schwab, because someone did that little dig on Lord Schwab's family. Like, was he a Nazi?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Well, what does Lord Schwab talk about?
Sorry, he was a Nazi?
Was a Nazi. What, the Third Reich fell? No, we're on the Fourth Reich, Great Reich set. The Great Reich set.
Oh, no.
Michael, you heard it here first. This is Rise Above, the Great Reich set.
Oh, it's not the Ra set.
So I found this in some government documents, or someone's found it. I looked at it and I copied it. I found it. Right. Financing 2030 agenda through COVID-19 and beyond. So, you know, Handjob and Lord Schwab have been literally hand in cock for quite a long time, trying to finance what's going on.
Secret little handshakes under the files.
Now, we know that gene editing is one of those primary good things about the Fourth Industrial Revolution and about the Great Reset. Lord Schwab talks about it all the time.
He loves it.
Right, big up one of our viewers, Mark Solomon. I got an email on the brand new. Let me put it up. Where is it? The new email address. This is where you send me the hot stories, guys. riseabovelivestream@gmail.com. He sent me this. Hi, crew. This is probably no importance unless you're farming livestock, of course. But you might enjoy reading it. An article explaining new developments to be used commercially to alter the genes of boars so that all male piglets that they father will have a messed up Y chromosome. These piglets will grow to be feminized piglets, behave like females, and they will be infertile. Sound familiar? Taken from this website. What is interesting is that the genes of the father have been changed in a way that won't show up until the offspring fail to mature. What were we talking about earlier with the Pfizer thing?
Sure.
And yeah, okay, so let's have a look into this. This is from June 6th, 2020. Gene editing offers avenues to end castration. So they're framing it to end the inhumane physical castration of these piglets. So they're thinking about a way to use gene editing to make a whole generation of these grown piglets never reach puberty. I know I'm a stupid conspiracy theorist, but is this ringing any bells, anyone? Yeah.
Just give us a quick overview of what you just said, Lee. So basically, if I'm getting this right, you're saying that we at one point could have been crossbred with pigs.
Yeah, and that's why certain religions refrain from eating pork.
Okay. And that's why it's, we're told that the reason they do this is because they see them as dirty, but we don't know if that's the truth.
Yeah, well, in history schools, genetic modification is nothing new. They're already telling us through things like Black Mirror, also through the media and the news with regards to a prime minister. I don't think it's a coincidence or accident that he was compromised by having some kind of sex ritual with a pig. Also, if you look at some of the major religions, they refrain from eating pork. And for anybody that's done any trauma type of first aid training, they always use pigs because they have a very close anatomy to the human.
I've always understood it's something to do with the cloven hoof, because a pig has a trotter.
What you've got to remember is when it comes to any form of truth or knowledge, there's always at least two types. So you'll have, say, for instance, the A influence version and the B influence version. So one would be what is commonly known. So that would be given to us either through education or the media. and then one which the mystery schools or esoteric schools will understand or understand. But they're not going to tell us it's because of genetic modification that you can't eat pork. They may use another reason.
Have you ever seen that experiment where you pour Coca-Cola onto a pork chop and the little white worms come out? They're just visible by the naked eye. Have you ever seen this?
No, I've not witnessed this. No.
I've actually witnessed it. There are tiny, almost microscopic white, look like tiny tapeworms that actually can come out of pork meat. They're apparently latent.
Schwab tech.
Well, yeah, basically organic Schwab tech. Science should never be settled.
No, it should always be challenged. And so, for instance, why would nature create a creature that is not natural? So, to me, that would insinuate that potentially there's been some genetic modification with regards to the pig, the creature, the pig.
And that
would problems with sweating, and and also, for instance, you talked about parasites. So you got the physical parasites. Now that actually sort of symbolizes the non-physical parasites. So that if a pig is parasitical, that could also indicate that there's non-physical parasites attached to the pig.
Big up Godvag. I didn't show everyone. Godvag commented on my roller skating video this week. Yeah. Should we, Jamie?
No. We get to Godvag. Right. All right. Big up Wolfie, the executioner. He's in the house.
Big up Wolfie. Big up our numerology expert. Right. So why do rocket trajectories arc? Is it because the Earth is spinning, or is it because they're flying out of a realm which is greater than we know? Big up Godvag. I just saw this meme. It made me think of the vag. You know that thing about magicians I put up earlier on? These people are magicians and they're making us create their reality for them. Well, I come across this. And this is about the Great Awakening. And it's about the two Earths splitting. The 3D Earth going further, a lower, denser vibration of fear, division, anger, hate, control, artificial intelligence. Get 3D, forget 5D, positive, negative. And then an ascending Earth going into love, unity, peace, healing, and consciousness. And it says, everyone will get exactly not what they deserve, not what they get, what they choose.
It's just,
you've got a problem with it, haven't you?
No, I haven't.
Spit it out.
I mean, it just confirms. I mean, whoever wrote this is either right wing or just that the universe made it that all the negative bits are on the left. Fear, division, anger, control, hate, AI.
The left hand path. The left hand path or the right hand path.
It's very generic, and it's important to, as a syncretist or polymath, you need to be able to read from many different sources, and also you need to be able to read from the sources that are not quite so obvious, and also that may be perceived as slightly negative. So, as an example, I actually do look at NASA. Even though I don't believe half the things that NASA say, but they actually do slip a lot of truth in. So with regards to this, I wouldn't worry too much about the detail of it. I would, there's a word called the gist. Now, the gist is a very important word for the syncretist or the polymath, or for anybody involved with mystery schools. So it's being able to extract the gist of any impression that you're presented with. So what feeling do you get from that diagram? That would be more important than worrying about the detail of it. Because, for instance, we could have a debate about, is the Earth a spinning ball?
Sorry.
This creates division in my mind.
Really? Do you reckon?
If I look at it like that, yeah. I mean, look, it's basically saying everyone who is pro AI is hateful, controlling, angry, division,
I would
and fearful.
I think schematically, thematically, for me, this makes sense. And it's probably better to someone that's like a normie or a fence sitter that's never come across it before. It's about manifest your reality. It's about choose whether you want to go. Yeah, it's about a splitting path. It's about the duality. It's about, it's the reason I put it. I would say this is a beginner's guide, a beginner's meme to an amoeba of what Inner Guardians was talking about last week.
Sure.
Yeah. So as an example, if you're an adept in the mystery schools, you would use an option called the third option. So, for instance, you try and transcend or rise above the dualistic nature of anything that's presented. So, as an example with that, is AI bad? Is hate bad? If you hate a pedophile, is that bad? If you control your dog, is that bad? If you're angry about hungry people, is that bad?
Anger is a powerful emotion. Can be used in a positive sense.
Now, if you've got, if you've got no fear, if you haven't got a fear of heights, then there's nothing to stop you from jumping off the 10th floor of an apartment. So.
Oh yeah, fear's a powerful tool.
Yeah, it's kind of useful. I tend to take the third option and try and unify the two. So
yeah, if a bear's running at you, if you're not scared to run away, you're in the shit.
Well,
exactly.
I think the worst thing to do would be, first of all, to be scared, and then the second reaction, which you wouldn't want to do, would be run away.
Sure.
Like you were talking about in Inner Guardians last week, the difference between a response and a reaction, and to the uninitiated, that's the same thing, mate. I'm just admiring your ammunition box there in the bottom right hand corner. That is a fat ammo box. I've got an ammo box down here somewhere. I had to move it because of the gloves. You only fit a few mags in it. That's a big ammo box. What you got in there? A Claymore?
It's classified.
I bet it is. Right. So let's get past this simplistic meme because we're going to go deep in a minute. Right. Check this dude out. Check this dude out. I know we're in the Coviet Union section here, guys, but take faith. There are nations on this realm that are not partaking, or they've at least got high-ranking officials that don't want to do the Coviet Union thing. They've said no to the Wuhan hoax organization. Check this out.
One local politician has courted controversy after making comments which could undermine public confidence in a COVID-19 vaccine.
We understand that there is a vaccine out, more than one vaccines around. But, sometimes when something new come out, you can't just run into it because you don't know what effects it might have on you. So we want the big countries, them like America and Canada and England. Go ahead and take the vaccine and let us see how it works a little while before we rush into it. That's true. Yes, that's the safest thing to do. Yeah, so after that now, I will say, yes, it's working. Everything good for those people. Then next year we can say, all right, come our time now. We're ready to take it. Eh?
So that's a big finger in the air to the Coviet Union. This is Rise Above. We don't do rabbit holes. We do the whole goddamn rabbit.
We don't do a half job.
Nail on the head.
Wow.
This is something I've got in a lot of trouble.
This is a great show tonight.
This is great. This is great. It's not rabbit holes, guys. Rise Above is the whole rabbit, not just the whole rabbit. It's the fillet of rabbit on a silver platter. The normalization of the non-gender agenda. I'm sure you know what that means. We're talking about the definite media-induced push towards definitely the youth of not just promoting the LGBT community, but the whole idea of complete gender fluidity. Where is that going? Why is that happening? I'd like to hear your opinions on that.
With regards to the gender or the non-gender agenda, I've actually worked for a few clients that have gender issues, shall we say, and I wouldn't want to classify them as being part of the agenda. All they want to do is live a normal life. Well, you've got to understand, and it's very important that you have to kind of be a little bit sympathetic to all of the genetic modifications that have been taking place generation after generation. I can't remember the gentleman's name. 303. He brought us back to look over the situation.
Mark 303.
Yeah. Now that was I'm very pleased that he did that, because it actually raised a very good point. That it's not, you can't genetically modify instantly. It has to be done over certain generations after generations. Sure. So it's a slow process to go. For instance, if somebody takes the glorious cure now, they're not suddenly going to morph into something different tomorrow.
Sure.
But it could be the children, the children's children, and so on and so forth. Yeah. So we've all been genetically modified. So we're kind of all in the same boat to a certain degree, some more than others. So there has to be a certain amount of sympathy for everybody.
Absolutely.
Like this quote here, they are victims of this. Now, so the point I'm trying to make is, just because somebody has potential gender issues doesn't necessarily mean that they're part of the agenda. I would suggest that the majority of anybody that's LBGT and whatever else just wants to live a life without being harmed, without being attacked.
Absolutely.
Just go about their business in peace.
Which they're perfectly entitled to. Everyone is, That's what we're all entitled to.
Similar to the BLM. So I would suggest that there's a huge proportion of people of color that don't support BLM, and the BLM movement's obviously a hijacked movement that has an agenda. So it's very important to understand this. Now, this is leading me to the point. If you're going to go to a synthetic universe where you're uploading essence and souls, there doesn't need to be agenda.
Essence and souls.
Now, this will really appeal to the Christians or the religious folk amongst us, because Jesus was asked, "Is there sort of marriage in heaven?" type of thing, like a question, and his response was that in heaven there's not particularly male or female, especially if you read some of the books that weren't included in the Bible from the Nag Hammadi texts and scrolls. So anything non-physical, there's no real need for gender. So I would suggest that this non-gender agenda is one of the tools being used to lead humanity into the synthetic upload of the soul.
Yeah, I totally agree.
The same if you play a video game. Is there any real need for gender in a video game?
Unless you have an old school hero and heroine to rescue dynamic, absolutely not. In all of the modern video games, the female characters are just as much total badasses as the male characters.
Sure.
We're trying to zoom in on your screen and look at those books that you've got in that stack behind you there.
Lee, Lee, the book at the bottom, I'm Googling the title on the other screen.
Come on, it's Master Lee. He wouldn't have put them there if he didn't want anyone to see the titles.
I've already got the bottom one.
Are you ready? This is what Sugar Mountain had to say to his own employees in a leaked video. Please check it out.
But I do just want to make sure that I share some caution on this, because we just don't know the long-term side effects of basically modifying people's DNA and RNA.
So that's the first bit that we need to take care of. Sugar Mountain openly says, we do not know the effects of altering people's DNA and RNA. And we can guess what he's talking about.
Side effects of basically modifying people.
All you need to know is that what Zuckerberg just said there to his own employees is enough to get him taken down from Facebook. That violates all of their rules.
And just to clear up one point, I mean, my understanding is that these vaccines do not modify your DNA or RNA.
Look at Fauci's face, the little fucking weasel.
First of all, DNA is inherent in your own nucleus cell. Sticking in anything foreign will ultimately get cleared.
Right. I'd just like to pull up Dr. Fauci right there. I'd like to bring in Inner Guardians. Dr. Fauci says if you stick a foreign body into your DNA, it will just be clear. You'll be fine. What about Ebola? What about HIV? What about Schwabian nanotech?
Well, what about the articles you just read about pigs?
Thank you, Mark Solomon. Thank you, Andy PG. I tell you what, big up Andy PG. He's never missed a fucking stream in 17 streams. Right, this is number 17. When you get to stream 33 of Rise Above, guess what? You're a full adept. You're fully initiated. When you get to stream 33, that's a 33 degree. Inner Guardians, this is mockery. Are we back onto the subject of dark occultist mockery?
Yeah, this is a very good example. But you could still show that to a large proportion of the population and they still can't see it.
Of course, because we're lunatics, aren't we?
Well, conspiracy theorists.
And that was actually where we got to
the mic drop.
with the mic drop.